Knife making is a very dirty job. Looky here. This is my very first Caddo. The handle is stabilized Western redwood. It's a burled redwood. I am liking the stabilized stuff. I'm going to make an effort to either learn how to stabilize my own wood or to buy wood that's already stabilized. As a matter of fact, I spent $40 on some Honduran burled crap. I can't remember the name of it. I'll think of it in the next clip, or I'll show it to you when I get it. It's just enough to put on the handles of the Texas Rumble. And when I get to the Texas Rumble, that I'm going to put every single thing I know into making that knife. I'm going to do some spine work, file scrolling on the spine. I'm going to use the synthetic Honduran burl wood that I paid $40 for. And my sheath, I haven't designed it yet, but it's going to be the best sheath I've ever made with maybe some basket weave or some other kind of, design work on the sheath. And I'm not even going to show it to you as I build it. I'm going to show it to you when it's done. But I got to finish this. This needs several thin coats of True Oil and a scary sharp edge. And it is going to its new home in Indiana. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm liking that stabilized wood. And it's not likely that I'm going to be using Damascus anymore. The truth is, I can't ask enough for my knives to cover the cost of the Damascus. So here's the deal. I don't normally talk prices, but this knife with carbon steel is $155 shipped anywhere in the United States. If you want this made out of Damascus, or any knife made out of Damascus, if you'll buy the Damascus, and I'm talking about not through Amazon, you got to buy it from Alabama Damascus, the only place you can truly trust to make real Damascus, and it's American made. You pay for the Damascus, and I'll make most of my larger knives are $155, okay? My dinner skinner is $105, shipped with a nice sheath, and just the regular knife metal that I usually use, which is high carbon 1084. The Texas Rumble, it's a big honking piece of metal that you start with, and everything about it's going to be expensive, so I haven't decided on a price. It will be over $200, but this here is $155, and I'm not going to charge extra for the Damascus. I just can't do it. I haven't reached museum quality knife maker yet, and that's what I'm striving for, is museum quality knife making. Okay, this knife goes to the house tonight and gets several coats of True Oil on it, and then an edge, and it's done. So I may be done with this tomorrow, unless my wife wants to go shopping. Then all bets are off. I'm going to roll in a couple of pictures just because when I price the Texas Rumble, the big knife I'm going to build, when I price that knife, I want you to know why I have to price it so high. So I'm going to roll two pictures in of one picture is the invoice for one set of handles for that knife. It's almost $50. And the next picture is the price of the steel. I mean, I didn't buy steel for just one knife, but I want you to know how expensive steel is and why Well, like my friend Ricky, uh, everything about knife making is expensive. Now, I understand, and he understands too, that you can only ask so much for your knives uh, before you're just not going to be able to sell them. But it's a very, very expensive endeavor, which is why I have worked very, very hard to get as good as I possibly can, as quickly as I can, so I can start asking enough for my knives to justify the cost going into them. And Ricky and I, we talk a lot on the phone and text and all that. And we both spend a lot of money on just belts, belts, sandpaper, the electricity to keep things running. I know this is nobody's problem, but I have had people ask me through email how much my knives were, and I've told them, and they never replied back to me. I don't know if they asked me out of curiosity, or if they didn't reply back because they thought, why, that's insane. You can't get that much for a knife. Maybe they just didn't reply because they don't feel like it. I don't know. But knives are expensive to make, which is why people have to ask so much for them. And just two of the components I'm fixing to show you. Let me show you one right now. These are 1/8" mosaic pins. These are 1/4" mosaic pins. One pin is $23. That's just the pins to hold the handles on, and I get 3 knives. I use 3 pins on each handle, so I get 3 knives out of this. That's if I don't make any mistakes. And then this is just the sandpaper for the metal. That is the sandpaper for the wood. I have several $100s in sandpaper. That's not all I have. I have some up there and some in there. But I don't want to run out. Right around the corner there, my forge, which is just on the other side of that steel wall. The forge was several $100s. This was almost $300, the logo etcher. I didn't buy this. It was given to me by Nick Brown, but that is $250, something like that. That's the knife sharpener. So every single thing about making knives is expensive. Why? Which is why you don't see any bad knife makers. Because if you can't sell your knives, you can't keep doing this. Anyway, I don't know if what I'm saying is I hope I'm saying it the right way without sounding like I'm complaining. I love this hobby and all. How do you become rich? How do you become a millionaire being a knife maker? Start with 2 million. They used to say that about trucking. A truck driver won a $5 million lottery, and they said, what are you going to do with all that money? He said, I'm going to keep trucking till the money runs out. Well, it's sort of the same thing with knife making. If you won $1 million lottery, what are you going to do with that $1 million? I'm going to keep making knives till the money runs out. Anyway, I love making knives. This is it's the most enjoyable thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm going to keep making knives until I can't afford, to replace the stuff, the consumables. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I put my first coat on this Caddo, and yes, oh yes, that's 1 coat of True Oil. This is sanded up to 800. Oh my goodness. And I went and tried it in my very first Caddo sheath, and fits freaking perfect. I sort of put the cart before the horse. What I did was take the knife blank in there and trace around it, and then build a sheath around that tracing. And I was, crossing my fingers. But anyway, it's perfect. It fits snug. It fits perfect. It's the sheath comes up about here. I couldn't have done any better as far as, you know, not having the actual knife made and building the sheath around it. Anyway, this time I'm going to really shut up, and I mean it. Dog has been upside down for about an hour. Y'all are some lucky, spoiled dogs. I just wanted to see how true to my original I'm being. This is Jeff's. This is Phil's. This is not sold. And that is my last Damascus Caddo.